Good morning and welcome back to the Rural Companion vlog. Today I am going to bring you along for a day in the life, a Saturday in the life specifically. I started my morning, and as you can tell, I'm still in my morning state, but I did just have some coffee and some quiet time with the Lord, a devotion and prayer time, and now I'm catching up on a couple YouTube videos that I wanted to go through this weekend, specifically because on Monday I'm starting something really cool, and I just wanted to kind of prep as much as I can. More on that later. Today I have a few things planned that I need to get done just because it's a Saturday at home and I don't have anywhere to go, and I love those days, as I've mentioned before, probably in this video, maybe it's over here in this video. So the things that I want to get done today, I have a list. Let me pull that up really quick. So I want to, of course, bring you along for all of what I'm doing today. I need to prep some sourdough. I need to, or I would like to make a shampoo bar with lard specifically. I have been playing around with a variety of shampoo bar recipes and soap recipes, like just for your body. I would love to find the best combination for body and hair if that's possible. And so I was going to play around with that today, as well as I need to go up to my garden because it is the end of September and I have a handful of peppers still up there that I need to harvest, and then I need to pickle those. The garden is pretty much done, and the past actually week we have been close to 100 every day at the end of September. I don't know why. Anyway, the temperatures have really wreaked havoc on my garden, and I think it's about done for the summer, which is absolutely fine because, like I said, I have something really cool starting next week, and I really probably won't have a ton of time to do a lot of work in the garden. Beyond harvesting and watering right now, I do need to probably clean up the beds and get those prepped for fall or the winter months, but I don't need to do that immediately. There's plenty of time in our fall days, and I don't want to be working out. I think today is supposed to be a high of 98 or 99, so I really don't want to be doing any of that outside today. So I'm hoping to get to the garden first, and actually, why don't we go up there right now? Okay, so I realized I really haven't done too many homestead or garden updates this summer, mainly because this has been probably the driest summer that we've had, at least in the past 2 years that I know, and my garden has just struggled this summer. I don't know if that's me and my watering techniques, or maybe just my soil is a little depleted this year. It just really hasn't been that great. I've gotten tons of peppers, but that's pretty much it. And I just really haven't taken the camera up to the garden much. So let's go do a couple animal check-ins on our way to the garden. So we have chickens. The chicken tractor with the large chickens is actually going to be moving into a chicken coop, or all of them will be moving into a chicken coop. We're calling that like their retirement because we have a new batch of chicks that we got earlier this year after our return from our Hawaii trip. And so we need to divide them into the two chicken tractors. Those will be our main laying hens. We're actually going to have one chicken tractor for hopefully incubating chicks, and then the other one will be for collecting eggs, because we do plan on having a lot of eggs come springtime. Over here we have our Stanley and Pumbaa is going to need to be well, turned into bacon here soon, because we realized he's not actually full Cooney, And anyway, like I said, we've realized that Pumbaa is not full Kuni, and we are going to have to butcher him here soon because we don't want him to visit with our Kuni girls. For obvious reasons. Anyway, I am going to put a video right up here because we go through all of the benefits of having Kunis right in that video. That is that chicken coop I was just talking about for retirement purposes. We do not really have a plan beyond giving them just the coop yard at this moment. They aren't laying as frequently, and we plan on putting all of our original chickens in there. The girl pigs are growing really well. They are around, I believe it's 9-10 months old, and we are just keeping them separated from the males as best we can because we just want to wait till they're a little older. We want to time the birth of their babies not in the middle of winter, honestly. So we're just trying to keep everybody apart for this time. Let's go up to the garden. Okay, this kitty, she is about as feisty as her brother. Now, we did bring her full brother into our house, and that is Mahalo. This is Lilo, and they are from our batch of kitties that were born actually right before, the night before we left for Hawaii. So they all got Hawaiian names. And unfortunately, she is the only cat from that batch, all 10 of them that we have left here on our property. Both moms are gone, and then we just have a male from our previous batch. Actually running really low on cats, which is totally fine because we had, I think I said we had 16 cats, which is insane outside, and now we are back down to 2 outside, 2 inside, which seems to happen, which is why we kind of have just been letting it happen, I guess, if that makes sense. No. Come on. Tomatoes just didn't do good this year. Now, I don't know if that's because of the lack of rain that we had. None of my flowers really grew that I normally have along the fence line. Last year, everything was so much more abundant and beautiful, and I just feel like everything struggled very much this year. I did water every day when it was over 95, and then every other day if it was just under that. So I don't know if it was my watering or, again, like I mentioned, my soil maybe is just depleted at this point. Next spring, we do plan on bringing in some more like cow dirt. We heard about some local places that mix up like composted nutshells or various nutrient dense things that maybe my soil is just lacking. My compost pile was kind of, again, struggling this year. I do think that's because I was trying to fill 2 other raised beds, so we didn't focus on growing our compost so much. So hopefully next year I can kind of get that back up and running. And again, with the lack of rain, you really do need the rain, the right amount of moisture and heat to break down the compost, and it didn't seem like we had the right moisture content. Again, even with the well water, it just doesn't do quite as good as rain, and we just hardly had a lot of rain this year. Now, for this particular plant, as you can see, it actually is probably the best looking tomato plant that I have. I put a really hefty layer of rabbit pellets at the base of it, and I have really tried to extra water this particular area because I wanted it to, Well, I wanted to see if it would continue growing, and it seems like we are doing better here than maybe up there. Okay, so this is my harvest. I've got, these are mini sweet peppers. They typically, I just wait till they turn red, but you could pick them at any color variety. So, you know, like the bag of sweet peppers that you get at the store, they're normally yellow, orange, and red. Well, I just wait till they're red to pick them. Oops. We have a bunch of, I think these were ancho maybe? I have ancho. These are sweet pepper, like a green bell pepper. I have some pepperoncinis. They're getting really small at this point. Pepperoncinis. Some jalapenos. Again, they are really small. They are, like, they have been small all summer, but they're getting smaller as we go. And then I have also, I have one other variety of pepper in here. Where are they? Okay, and then these I believe are Anaheim. I might have mixed up the ancho and the Anaheim, but I'll double check. I have it written down at home. I have a chart at home where I write down which plants are which. So I do mix these up, Anaheim and ancho. I believe it's the dark one is the ancho, the lighter one is the Anaheim. And then I have a ton of basil. Okay, and all of the basil, typically my oregano, rosemary, sage, thyme, I'm trying to think of what else. Most of those I try to dry throughout the summer so that I can make kind of like all of the dry individual herbs, but I love to make an Italian seasoning combination, and I typically will try to get that enough for our family as well as for some extended family. I typically love to make like little seasoning packets for Christmas gifts. Those are always fun. And then of course, because they are local and organic, they make really good just friend gifts. And I just feel, to me, that is something very special because it was homegrown. So you know that there's no pesticides, herbicides, blah, 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 blahs. In the year, I did explain about my elderberries. We got, I don't know, I want to say it was close to 12, maybe 16 cups of elderberries towards the end, and on these super duper tall ones, let's see if you can see, on the super duper tippy top ones, I actually didn't pick the elderberries. I just let them be because I had already picked a ton. I think, what was it? Oh, I think it was right before we went to Maryland. I'll link that video right up here, that the last two bunches, clusters, whatever, of elderberries were ready. And I just left them out there because we were about to travel. I didn't feel like dealing with it. There's some cat issues going on down there. I'm gonna stop the video now. Okay, I made it back to the house. I was harvesting the last of the basil and I heard a cat fight going on in the creek bed, which was right next to me, no fences, and realized that it was our male cat and some other animal. Not sure what it was, but I did want to rush back to the house because I just didn't want to be involved. I don't know what's going on. It could be another cat or something else. Not really sure, but it sounded like cat fight sounds. So I'm going to probably work on these peppers now and get my sourdough out and started as well. Have some food in your belly.
That was at 6 o'clock on the dot. Crazy ass like dragons.
Okay, so I worked on a recipe for soap. I took someone else's recipe and subbed out the ingredients that I had. Specifically, their recipe was with tallow and I have lard, and I wanted to make a peppermint lavender soap. So I do have some essential oils that I did find at TJ Maxx a while back, and while they are not the ones that I typically use, I normally use Rocky Mountain oils for like all of our essential oils. I thought that these were a little cheaper for soap making, and the ones that I had bought at our local craft store were just not as potent. It seemed like the smell just wasn't as good. So I'm hoping that these will be a little better for soap making. So I wanted to add something. Nathan is working on replacing all of the filters in the water filtration system that he put in. When did you do that?
2 years ago.
2 years ago. And we do have a video. You can check that out right over here. We are updating all of the filters, and something I did want to mention as far as soap bars go for your hair. I have talked to several people and they are reporting back that they have like a filmy, matty, greasy feeling after they use shampoo bars. And why is that? And we realized, and I did plenty of research on it, it's because of hard water. So if you are wanting to use soap bars for natural cleaning alternatives without all the added chemicals, you really need to have softened water. So we have a whole house water filtration system that can be bought at your that can be bought at your local home improvement store. You can add it yourself. I guess you can buy one from a company, but you do need to get your water tested and check out the hardness of your water and then take steps to treat it so that your shampoo bar works best. All right, while my peppermint tea was cooling and steeping in the process, I made my lunch, which is really breakfast, because I've just been doing a smoothie for breakfast in the morning. So then I moved my breakfast to lunchtime, if that makes sense, but it was just an egg and veggie scramble. And then I'm enjoying my afternoon matcha. I really have been trying to cut out my afternoon cup of coffee because I am going to be in school teaching. Did I hear matcha? Matcha. It's time for matcha. We are obsessed with matcha. Okay, well, I was gonna make her matcha. She likes hers warm, well, hot. I mean, you know, like a warm cup of tea. And I like mine iced. Anyway, I am going to be teaching starting Monday, and I desperately needed to cut out that afternoon cup of coffee because, well, I don't want to have to like just deal with drinking coffee and then being jittery, and it does overheat me, and I'm dealing with all of that hormonal side of life, as well as, of course, it just makes you have to go to the bathroom all the time. So I have been working hard to eliminate that, which swapping it out with matcha has been the greatest alternative. It doesn't seem to overheat my body, mess up my hormones or my heart, but it doesn't actually make me have to go to the bathroom all the time. So I know that was probably TMI. However, Lola says yes. Anyway, I feel like it is just a softer afternoon pick-me-up versus a cup of coffee. So let me go ahead and mix up the peppermint water and our lye. And I haven't decided if I'll make a full blog post on this one. If I do make the blog post with the recipe, go ahead and I will leave a link in the show notes below. And if not, I will leave the recipe in the show notes below if I don't make a full blog post. But go ahead and hop over to my blog if you haven't already and explore. I do have a lot of recipes and just a lot of the video turned into blog post format as I am a verbal learner and I love that, which you can check out that video right over here. So we're going to start with our water and lye mixture. Okay, we are on the back patio. I have gloves, I have eyewear. We are going to go ahead and pour the lye into the water and stir, and you are going to, well, maybe you won't see the steam come off of it today because it is really sunny and hot out, but in the winter months it's really cool because you can immediately see steam come from the chemical reaction of the lye going into the water. Now, while the lye solution is cooling down to the correct temperature, which is around 110 degrees, I am going to measure out, well, I'm gonna melt and then measure out the oils. All of the oils actually are in liquid form except for the lard, which that is solid. So that one I will melt first and then measure just to make sure I get the correct amounts. I'll pour that all into a separate bowl and then stir that well, add my coloring, and then the essential oils, lavender and peppermint. And then we'll add our lye solution around that time, and again, use our immersion blender to bring it all together. Okay, and then also into my little cups of essential oil, I'm going to add a teaspoon of honey to increase the lather as well as the moisturizing properties of the soap. And then the other thing I'm going to do is add about 40 drops or a quarter teaspoon of rosemary essential oil to my oil mix as well, because that will extend the shelf life of the bar of soap. So typically a bar of soap has the best lifespan within the first year. It can last longer than that. And this book right here, this book right here says that they can actually last for several years, which I'm gonna test that out. But the way to extend it without it going bad or rancid is to add the rosemary extract. So we are gonna do that. Okay, and here is that rosemary. And again, this is my typical Rocky Mountain oils. I do love them. And again, this one I opened and the peppermint just really isn't that great, which makes me realize it's probably not that pure. You can definitely use your own discretion on which company of oils you use. I feel like for soap, it's probably gonna be okay. I wouldn't put it in a diffuser or on my skin like topically. Definitely love Rocky Mountain for that. So let's go ahead and add some of this to our honey. Okay, so if you notice, our oil mixture is right around, there we go, just at the 100 mark, actually just under the 100 mark, which is perfect. And now I'm gonna check our lye mixture. Okay, and our lye mixture, okay, that's perfect. Our lye mixture is just over 100, which means they are very similar. I'm going to go ahead and put back on my gloves and my goggles. Doop. I just finished filling my loaf of soap as well as several little round like trial sizes, if you will. Because I made the quantities for this soap on my own, it actually was more than what I've ever made. So I did have the excessive amount. In this book, right here, in this book, Simple and Natural Soap Making, all of her recipes have fit exactly and perfectly into just the loaf mold. So I probably need to work on that a little bit. Now, my super handy trick for cleaning up is I actually put everything into a plastic grocery bag overnight, and after that 24-hour mark, none of this is caustic any longer, and so it's really easy to clean up, and everything actually just kind of becomes that soapy texture that we're making, which is really handy for easy cleanup without having to worry about gloves or anything like that. So I'm just gonna package everything up. I do wrap up the loaf and the little minis in wax paper and then a towel, and then I sit that out in the garage and let that cool. Today is probably too hot to actually sit it out in the garage, so I think I'll move it into my bedroom. I'm just looking for a place that's kind of out of the main traffic flow, and then I will clean up the counter, get everything put away, and then probably rest before I get to my sourdough. The starter is just about ready, and then this afternoon we should be making a sourdough concoction. I haven't totally figured out what we're gonna be making. Okay, our sourdough is ready, and we are gonna make a loaf of bread. I think I'm just gonna do a sandwich style loaf because I haven't done one of those in a while. So let's mix it up. 3.